Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hold on, let me fix this. There we go. Assalamu alaikum everyone. So I want to dwell into this topic that comes up a lot when giving dawah, and it's usually from LGBTQ communities or mostly that. Well, they'll say this thing where I was born this way, or gays are born that way, lesbians are born this way. So why is it wrong to be like that? And the simple answer is first of all, we don't know if they're born this way. There's no science to back this up. There's no any data to back this up. There's no evidence to back up that certain people are born this way. I personally believe it happens over time. You get desensitized to so many things. You start dwelling into other areas that you shouldn't be getting into, and then you start having these homosexual thoughts. But besides the point, even if we'll give it to him, hey, you're born this way, okay, it doesn't mean you should act on these impulses because it's immoral, right? The same with, I was giving an example to someone. I was like, if you're born a psychopath and a psychopath starts murdering, killing people, and they use that excuse, I was born this way, I'm a psychopath. You're not going to allow that person to just keep killing and murdering just because they were born that way, right? And then they might say, oh, well, that's violence, that's different. But again, they're saying if you're born a certain way, you should be able to act on that, right? So what's the difference? But okay, if they want to say it's violence, okay. If two adults consenting to a sexual act should be fine, whether it's the same sex or not, if they're two adults, okay. But if you bring it to them, what about brother and sister? They're two adults, they consent, it's okay, no harm, they protect themselves. Is that okay now? And they'll have to concede to that. So this is what society is coming to, that we're eventually incest is going to be legalized, it's going to be okay, because if they're already going with this, transgender is okay, lesbians okay, gays is okay, it's going to come to incest. And it's because they're born that way. Supposedly they're born that way. What are you gonna do, right? So we're coming to this where we're separating so much. We're getting so secularized that whatever this person desires and emotions are, it's gonna be totally morally okay, and no one's gonna be able to say anything. There's gonna be no morals, basically. We're going to take God out the picture totally, and we're just going to go with liberalism, secularism, and based off our emotions and desires. And this is totally against the Quran and the Sunnah, and that's what they're trying to do. And they're pushing this into the Muslim countries too. It's not just in the West. It's not just in the West. They're pushing the Western agenda into all the Middle Eastern countries, and you're probably affected by it in your countries too. And sad to say, but even the Muslims think this is the way to live. Oh, we should just go based off everything's okay, everything's whatever the West says must be right. If everyone's doing it, it must be right. No, we don't abide to that. Our objective morality, our objective guidance for life is from the Quran and the Sunnah, and that's what we should follow, and that's what we should preach, and that's what we should stand up for and stand up against the oppressors who try to force this Western agenda upon us, because that's not the way to live. The best way to live is the guidance coming from our Creator, who knows us the best. Okay? Assalamu alaikum for everyone that's following already. Assalamu alaikum to the Muslims, to the non-Muslims. What's up? Thank you for following, commenting, and just sharing your thoughts. It always helps. Hope you guys are having a great Ramadan, and have a good one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.